So, we see perhaps like a shot of the crew, like you and Oha getting aboard the shuttle as well, and the crew like waving you goodbye. Um, and so after they depart is where we probably like warp into live action again. And Gogo and Fortune and Chan are all, oh, and Dr. Fisher, of course, are all like in the cargo bay, and like, does Gogo say, "All right, time to get ready to go"? Right? Like, is that what we hear, or is she content to wait for a while?
I mean, I think that she's running the numbers and she's still pretty willing to do it. But at this point, the urgency is kind of left her, right? Like the whole point is to try to get the extra money to getting it there fast. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it kind of seems, I wouldn't say pointless at this moment, but like it's not quite, it doesn't have the same sheen as it did a few hours ago.
Yeah, I thought maybe this was going to be like a, hey, you want to go wait for them on planet kind of deal, right? Like,
let's keep them there. Yeah, no, I don't think, I mean, Gogo's not got a whole lot to live for, but she's also not suicidal currently. So,
gotcha. Oh.
But I do think that she does have a brief conversation, if something, with Chan, just kind of apologizing and also kind of saying like, listen, we'll get there soon enough, and you can train for a little bit with Oscar. Like, don't you worry.
Yeah, and if this is like post montage, I think that you receive normal Chan. He's like, "Oh no, it's no problem. In fact, I don't even know what I was thinking. There's so much to do aboard the ship, and I apologize, but I've been slacking. Stanley falling ill is taking me away from my duties somewhat, but I promise I will redouble my efforts. And also, I plan on seeing Dr. Fisher daily so that we can ensure that everything is okay. I've become worried."
You're just kind of like
guilt.
No, 100%. Yeah, I think that Gogo actually probably grabs both of his hands and like holds them in hers and like looks at him and she goes, "No, we'll make time for it. I promise." Like the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think his eyes avert down when you grab him, because it's hard enough for him to even look at you, especially when like you're being forceful. His eyes avert down and he says, "Yes, if you so wish it. First, certainly, I would enjoy that."
Yeah, Gogo lets go and says, "Well, good." And she just leaves.
Yeah, and I think there's again like there's a moment where you're walking away, his eyes just kind of come up, and maybe look puzzled. He doesn't know how to handle what just happened, but they quickly divert and he trots off to do his normal duty of making sure that your ship doesn't explode in midair, as it's wont to do, by the way. Boomer really did a number on the engine with his still. So, what about you, Fortune and Dr. Fisher? Let's theoretically say that you guys spent 2 weeks waiting your turn. Is that something that you would do? Like, if it came to that, it would definitely be an opportunity to like montage out some significant events. Like, you get a lot of research done in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
of not having definitely a whole lot to do, right? Like, I assume that may be a thing that Fortune and Dr. Fisher might actually want to do, is like, hey, we have some, because when's the last time the crew had downtime that wasn't traveling, right? Like,
yeah,
never, question mark.
No, certainly in this part of the sector's research is kind of what I want to be doing. So,
you might want to wait on the skill checks till I call for him there.
Okay.
I'll ignore that one for now.
But I
Tempting fate.
was gonna take it if it passed. That
Yeah.
was the point of this.
Yeah, it was a practice roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure I had everything set up right. It was
Yeah,
working.
yeah, totally.
You
I
gotta,
understand.
pre-flush the system, get the bad ones out. And then...
So you remember that scenario, Oscar, where you were just alone on the planet forever?
Yeah.
Well, who's playing Oha, first of all? I'm kidding.
Okay.
Huh?
I was saying who's playing Oha because everybody else is dead, but yes. So that's definitely something you want to do. But what about you, Go-Go? I know, like, you're not cool being stuck in one place. And to be fair, now here's another thing I mentioned last week, but I'll re-mention again. You guys could totally just leave and come back.
Well, I'm also
Forever.
like, and never come back.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
I'm getting out a message though, and I think that will determine dramatically whether I need to leave to meet someone or if I can stay put and accomplish that task here.
Sure.
So I think that's continually in the back of her mind, and so she's just literally waiting, constantly refreshing her email, which is weird for her to like care that much about a thing. So she's kind of like catches herself doing it, like catches herself refreshing her messages and like puts the compad down. It's like, this is stupid.
Yeah, and I think that it is certainly that, like, but that's kind of what I was leading to, is like, if you just left today, right, you could go back, be probably within instant communication range, and that would only take 3 days. You know, you could reasonably have like an entire week outside of, like, within 1 or 2 jumps, you could have an entire week before you had to come back. Now, the danger is, if that jump back has complications, and, like, I don't know, I think one of the options is double the time in transit, you might miss your window and have to get in the back of the line again.
But getting off planet is easier. So if you want to disappoint sweet baby Chan,
yeah, I don't think it's mostly getting
training
Oscar or not getting Oscar. It's whether or not you want to risk disappointing Chan again.
But I still don't see the reason why I would have to leave. I sent the message before we got in system. So
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is, like, it would take reasonably by about this time, the message either would have arrived or arrived like a day ago and is in the process of making its way back to you. Because it was also 1 jump away.
Sure. Yeah. No, Gogo's definitely not gonna.
Okay. So you're staying
leave.
put until you receive a message. Cool.
Yes, that is my plan.
Okay. Excellent. So, Dr. Fisher, are you on the, hey, I got some down quiet time, nobody, trying to shoot at us here, nothing's really going on?
That's so good right now. Right? Everything that I've done is being, suddenly guns are being pointed at me. Okay. And just having this, okay, you're saying I get 2 weeks of that not happening to me. This sounds like perfection.
it's a staycation.
Exactly.
Dun, 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 dun. No one?
I mean, I got it, but I'm not going to sing along.
Cool. So, the 2 days pass, and I'll jump back to Oscar and Oha here. So Oscar and Oha, when the shuttle arrives is where we jump in with you, and as it arrives, or as you're pulling up to it, you can see out the viewport, so with the shuttle that's like you're heading towards it. Roll me a culture spacer, Oscar, with intelligence.
One sec.
So an 8's pretty good. You're not sure what model of ship this is. In fact, I think that an 8 is good enough to run through the entire list of known Westwind ships.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see this one.
So this lines up with the funny statement that guy made in the diner about like surprises for anyone that can't. Yeah. So he definitely notes that, and he's going to be paying attention to the ship.
Yeah, it's sleek. It's a very sleek model. In fact, it reminds you a bit of the way that the Tan build their ships. It's like a sleeker model. The Tan build very kind of beautiful ships would be the term for it. While they are, useful in their design, the Tan are also pacifists, and so they add some flair to it. It's almost as if somebody took all of the useful parts off a Tan ship and made it kind of took all the good things that someone would want in a like flagship, quote unquote, or like a warship, let's say, because you're not really sure if it's a warship either. It is roughly it is either classified as a large frigate or small destroyer. It's hard to, or I'm sorry, cruiser. Destroyers don't exist here. Or cruiser.
But it's of unusual make.
Absolutely.
And he's never seen something similar before.
In fact, again, I think an 8 is good enough to run through the entire list of known cruiser. To run through the list of known Westwind ships, which you've probably looked at before at some point, and you're like, that wasn't on that list at all. As you pull up, you also know what type of armaments Westwind ships are like generally equipped with. For their fighter ships, they like Reaper batteries. They generally like to use energy weapons, with a mixture of missiles or projectiles, but primarily energy weapons. And you can see that
the farther away you get from it, the less accurate it becomes.
Right, yeah, exactly.
The less accurate you have to be.
I think that as you approach it... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's your reaction time. You're supposed to like sit here and bang! That's the time.
I don't think he's talking to us. I'm gonna be honest. Not. I thought...
Sorry. My mute came off.
It was funny because it sounded like it kind of fit in to what Jordan was saying, and he got super confused.
Yeah, no, my mute came off.
Holy shit. Could you hear the gears spinning in my head?
It got like real quiet after you said that.
I knew it was a farce when he hit reaction time, and I was like, what are you... Like, you're super, I guess, on point with the other part, but what? Anyway, so... they generally like more close range weaponry. Some things you can identify immediately when you pull up on this ship is, as you kind of fall under the shadow of it, first of all, it's like a matte black. So not only, which generally you don't need to paint ships black to blend in with space, because one of the cool things about space combat is generally you can't see the other ship anyway, because windows are hull weaknesses. Like, no ships have windows, really. Windows are not really a thing unless it's like a cruising ship or some passenger shuttle, because windows are structural weaknesses in a ship, and you generally don't have those in warships, quote unquote. And this one, as you pass underneath, you can see that it's kind of like imagine like a what the fuck are those things? What are those shelled fucking things?
What?
So above it, it's like this umbrella of this matte black ship with the the engines kind of pulsing at that bluish light in the back as they kind of sit there. As you fly under, you can see kind of the undercarriage of the ship. And you can see that there are a bunch of basically ports underneath of it where reasonably things could descend or come out or whatever. But it looks like it hides all of its equipment and armament inside of it until it needs to use it. Or maybe that's just really ornate landing gear. Who knows?
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
Given the comment. Like, yeah, wait till they see our landing gear.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We'll scare them right off.
Yeah, I mean, Fortune is dangerous with that landing gear, though. Like, maybe it is just some really, like, industrial grade landing gear.
Could be.
And eventually you get to, like, the shuttle bay, and the ship's large enough. Again, it's probably a cruiser class, to be fair. But it's a very small cruiser. You don't think, like, cruiser class ships can go up to, like, 100 people on board. This one probably holds 20 as like a crew component, with maybe some additional slots that probably you and whoever else is riding along are filling, right? And as you kind of ascend into you hear the docking clamps, and the shuttle kind of rumbles a little bit, and you see the sliding panels that cover the bay just, and then eventually the green light goes off, like cabin pressurized, right? And the descending ramp comes out, and you and Oha, who's got like her pack like over her shoulder, is like looking around. You walk out, and you can see that in the bay there appear to be two covered ships. You can only tell they're ships because you can see like the landing gear on the bottom of them, but they're like covered in like big cloth tarps. They look smaller than the shuttle you just came in on. They're probably fighters, maybe, but hard to tell. It looks like the place that you are currently in as well looks like the shuttle bay or whatever. It appears to be kind of cleared out, and I think that there's even like lights like running lights along the ground that kind of guide your path. And you can see that there are a couple of like mechanics like kind of casually like sitting on a couple of crates that are covered. Maybe they're a couple of them are having a smoke, and they kind of look and they see you walk by. And like if you look and nod, maybe they give you like the up nod, but generally they just kind of watch you go. And you're being guided by Hakar and Mamon, and also another unidentified guard. And they kind of escort you up and around through the ship, and it's very clear that like there's a very specific path they're having you follow. And then as you get to like a large door, it says crew quarters. And it says visitors authorized, like underneath of it. And Hakar stops the group, and there's the two of you, and then also probably on the shuttle there was two other individuals, probably a man and a woman, and they look like they might be traders or prospectors or something. Maybe they're coming here to find work, who knows. And he looks at you and he says, "This will be where you'll remain for the duration of the journey. Shouldn't be short, or I should say, apologize. Shouldn't be long now. It looks like we have about, by my estimate, about 17 hours before we are to enter the atmosphere. Please feel free to take a rest. Just so you all are aware, there's biometric scanners at each of the exit doors. It's assigned to all of my crew members. You will not be allowed to exit. But there is all of the utilities and amenities that you would want to find in a standard hotel here."
That's all I will require.
Yeah,
More
and
even.
yeah, and you see he goes, very well. He turns around, he pulls off his glove, he places his hand on the scanner, and then you see him like, it obviously does a retinal scan as well. And then you see the doors open up, and yeah, there's probably like it's built kind of like a small dormitory where there's like maybe 4 or 5 rooms that have like a couple of bunk beds in them. And there's 2 separate rooms that have two single beds, and that's where they're going to assign you guys. So you and Oha will have your own like little private room with 2 different beds. And so will the other
right up to
individual.
you said 2 different beds. I was about to bounce. Wow, wow.
I don't know if Oscar's lost any appendages before, but he probably would at this point.
They grow back.
It's true. That's why I said I don't know if you have before.
And you wouldn't by looking at him.
Correct. So yeah, and then you're given a small tour by Hakari. He shows you where the where the facilities are. All in all, this is pretty luxurious if this is a warship. I think you noticed that right away, Oscar.
Yeah.
And
his impulse that he's suppressing is obviously to go snooping around. However, this is too important for him to mess up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He cannot afford in this moment to get, vented from. There's too much riding on his behavior here, so he just goes along for the tour and is trying to soak up whatever he can see of the ship.
Yeah, so
his limits.
I have a question for Oscar. Oscar, have you ever been inside of a Ton ship before? Would that be a thing you've ever done, you think? We can come up with a roll for it if you want to just make it random.
No, I think it would be reasonable because like his former role as security would have involved meetings with other diplomats, and I think surely at some point he would have been on a Ton vessel.
Yeah,
like I think that's where the culture spacer comes from to begin with, is his travels and bouncing around from meetings like that with people under his guard.
Yeah, I definitely think that is 100% reasonable, and so no need to roll for it. I think that you see very strong influences from that sort of architecture, given by all so the thing about Ton ships is it seems large, but they are perfectionists about not wasting any space. In fact, it's probably one of the more admirable qualities that other people find in them is because they don't worry about a whole lot of things that more individualistic races worry about. They dedicate themselves into becoming these kind of perfectionists at what they do, and their architects are certainly no different than that. And so I think that you see the seams are all very smooth, and there's no dead space in between where the rooms are and where the bulkheads meet, and it's all very kind of laid out in such a way that makes it almost seem peaceful. It's got a lot of Zen garden vibes, or Jesus, why can't I think of the art of decorating?
The
feng shui. Thank
is
you.
Totally in line. All the shui is very feng.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of those vibes kind of flowing around this particular vessel as you kind of walk in here, but you do get the sense that there's definite human inflections here. There's some identifiable human vessel additions here, or at least innovations. For example,
more typical West Wind fare.
Yeah, so everything may be in the style of Ton, but it definitely looks like there is efficient ways to get around. So one of the things you probably notice about Ton ships is while there's no wasted space for anything, they tend to lean towards these winding hallways that kind of guide you through the ship at these your own pace, and you can enjoy what's going on. Whereas there's a lot more straight lines as far as and you, because you're a tactical minded person, you could be out of the crew quarters and into that cargo bay in probably 10 seconds from any of the crew quarters, even though there's only one door. They're built in such a way that allows a rapid response to anywhere else in the ship from these crew quarters.
Cool.
So that's probably a thing you pick up on, certainly. Something that, a Ton wouldn't care about, but somebody else definitely would.
Yeah, he's soaking it up, because I think the the crew doesn't necessarily get super well informed. Like the information is hard to come by, and this is actually pretty telling if there is like official coordination between Westwind and the Ton.
Right. Whereas,
So
like, previous to this, the information was, well, they're, allowing the refugees to show up.
Right. So maybe there's like some bartering happening, like tech exchange for protection or resources or, whatever. There's something there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, after that, you're kind of left to your own devices. And Oha is kept pretty close to you the whole time, and will remain to do so through the duration of your journey. But what do you do after that? Do you just, explore, make sure you've got everything and know where everything is, and then just retire, or how does that work for Oscar?
Yeah, I think he does a bit of a sweep as far as he's allowed to go. And maybe he goes around and just kind of, even if he's not speaking to them, he's kind of taking tabs on the other people that are there. He's trying to get a sense of who else is trying to get on the planet. The usual sort of stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he kind of just settles in for the couple of hours that they're going to be in transit, because again, he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. This isn't a situation where he wants to piss off the people that are taking him on planet.
Totally.
I think what's on his mind first and foremost is the opportunity that he has to go study with these people. So I think he's probably pretty well inside his own head, just thinking about the last time that he even received any formal training, which at this point has probably been years.
Yeah, Pip definitely doesn't count. That was probably the most.
No.
That was probably the most. I don't think obscure is the word, but irregular training method that you'd ever been. Unconventional, yeah, that you'd ever been put through. Certainly.
Yeah. He's still to this day not sure what to make of any of what happened with Pip.
And I think that's his MO, right? Like that's Pip's MO. Like you might remember me forever, but you won't understand it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's maybe there's some chit chat with Oha, maybe there's not, but he has nothing specific to discuss, I don't think, on route.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the one thing that Oha probably says is she probably at some point, maybe like after the ship's fired up and getting into position, she finds you maybe in the room, and
yeah,
and she says, "I've probed all of them. They all seem clean enough."
I'm not surprised, though I do appreciate your effort to evaluate our traveling companions.
Well, and she kind of like looks up, as almost like up to like kind of looking up to another level of the ship. She's like, there are a couple here beyond my reach. They are strong, from what I can tell. And she kind of like implies that something or someone is blocking something that she's doing.
Yeah, I think he's, if I can, Oscar would probably, if his mind is like, I bet I could just teleport around here, fuck biometrics. But I think like maybe in like kind of testing that, he might have noticed something similar. I think it's within the realm of reason to say, for him to say like, I picked up on something similar, though I couldn't put my finger on it.
It's probably one of those things where you
Because
went
I mean,
to like
he
dip.
does have meta psionics, right?
Right.
So I think he's fairly in tune with that sort of energy. you
Yeah,
know?
and I think that like maybe you went to dip into that power and there was like static, right? Like
Yeah.
like you went to reach for it and you're like, wait a second, there's something here. Like
Well, like not obstructive, but like something he would notice at
Right.
the very least.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I think he would say, you know, were the stakes not so high for misbehavior, would be very tempted to poke around this ship. Quite unusual make circumstances also.
Yes, indeed. One of my unfortunate lacks of knowledge is these people, the Tan. There are a couple on board, I've noticed. Some part of the crew. I think whoever they are involves at least one of them. They feel different. Slimier, almost. It's hard to describe.
For now, I suppose we'll just have to wonder.
Yes, indeed. This is a beautiful ship they have. Certainly useful, from what I can tell. Well, depending on what its capabilities are.
The captain was quick to boast, but closed up on the matter after. Would like to see what it's capable of, but
she laughs and she says, "Yes, as captains are wont to do."
well, by the look of it, I think there's something to his statement, but better if we don't find out right now.
Indeed.
Easier passage without need to prove it.
Yes, there are more important things, like this training. Perhaps we should talk about that.
It's been some time since I've received any formal training.
Sense you were at least a little bit apprehensive, anxious, excited. All kind of jumbled in there.
Excitement, first and foremost.
Yes, indeed. This training ground, this Bichu dojo. What do you know of it besides what was spoken of or advertised?
If they are what they claim to be, they are a rarity. There are few that actually follow my discipline. Least of all, few are still qualified to teach others.
Indeed. A rare form you use. I would not call it the most efficient, but it is certainly applicable in many situations.
Yes. I suspect there will not be other psychics involved. I've definitely, for better or worse, adapted it to my own abilities. We have to use what's given to us, don't we?
Yeah, and I think she does the thing where she like leans back with her hands behind the head on the bed and closes her eyes, and she opens one and she goes, "Yes. And what will be the name of your dojo when you are ready to teach this to others?"
We'll have quite some time to give that thought.
Yes. I think if we survive that long.
Everything, yeah. He says, yeah, sometimes I question why I even make plans.
Yeah, and she says, "Yes. I believe the saying goes, no plan survives first contact." Speaking of, I've had a chance to evaluate the crew. Let me tell you my thoughts. I think it's probably where we like fade out on that.
Yeah. Oscar, for the record, is very fond of the saying, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the nose.
Yep. Good. So this is probably the point at which or wait, one more thing before I initiate montage mode. Go. A day passes. Oscar, you make it onto the planet. No problems. Congratulations.
He resists the urge to teleport freely about the ship.
Indeed.
Plunder it of its secrets.
Indeed. Because the unfamiliar design would make it all too easy to simply appear outside of said ship accidentally.
Yeah.
So, Go, you get a message on the 22nd of September. In fact, you probably have it when you wake up. Like you can see like just the blinking light of your compad indicating that you have a message.
Yeah, Go opens it.
And you open it up, and it's a video message from Fizz. He didn't reply with text.
Instead of him like flexing into the...
No.
He's at the gym.
He's
One
at the
can only
gym
hope.
like working out
So,
while he's...
well, yeah. So what happens is the first like 10 seconds of it, you can see it like is in and out of focus, and he's like adjusting the compad, and you can see like he's in the cockpit of probably his fighter, and he like adjusts it a little bit until he like gets the right angle, and then he like moves himself like left and right, and then like leans in close and like maybe like mouses his hair a little bit. It's like but morning, ma'am, or evening, whatever it may be where you are. I would just like to say thank you for sending me that message. It was dear, and of course I would love to meet with you and perhaps trade some secrets if that is something that you are perhaps privy or no, that's not the word. I'm sorry, I'm not very great with words. Perhaps something that you are interested in doing, and he like, you see him like turn away, and he's just like hitting his head with his fingers, and he's like, I have some leave coming up. If that would work nicely for you. By the time you get this, and you see him like holds it like 1, 2, 3. By the time you get this, I'll probably have started it already. Did you tell him what sector you were going into?
Yeah, I would have like with the very short message given him like my immediate coordinates at the very least.
Yeah. And he goes, I can certainly, well, I can't fly my own ship, but I can certainly rent one and come on that way if that's something you would like. But if you want to just send me a message, I think that I don't know if it would be appropriate for me to start headed that way or not. Maybe I will. Maybe that we can speed up the process. Maybe get it done faster. I know you're a very busy woman and you like to be and you're in a rush a lot. I wouldn't want to keep you from your duties too long. So I guess just send me a message back. I'll let you know when I'm in the system, or you can let me know when you're in this system, or if you're gonna be in another system. That's fine too. I can go wherever. Yeah, send me a message back. Okay. And then you see him like fumble with the compad and then hit the off button.
So Go, is this like red flag central or like charmingly awkward?
You know, I feel as though...
How does she receive this?
I think it actually kind of makes her laugh, mainly because of how awkward it is, you know. But I think that I don't think that her immediate thought is suspicion, although Gogo's suspicious of everyone. So I think that Gogo just laughs, and although wishes the message was shorter and got bored about halfway through,
Right.
I think that she sends him a text message, not a video message, a text message back that just says, still at the same coordinates. Whenever you get here, message me. We'll get you on ship immediately.
Okay. So about an hour passes, and your compad begins to vibrate. Zzz, zzz, zzz. You have a call incoming.
Gogo answers it with voice only.
Yeah, because it's obviously a video call.
It's definitely a video call. Yeah, no, she answers it with voice only.
Yeah, and you can see that like he's got like an attachment now. Like somehow he picked up like the equivalent of like a GPS or phone holder for your car, and it's like attached to like a part of the cockpit, and it's like coming down. You see him like adjusting. He's like, "Hello, is this Gogo? Is that you?"
Yeah, yes. You don't need to yell, Fizz. Yes, that
Oh,
is me. I can hear you just fine.
I'm sorry. I'm not real good with this. If it doesn't fly or have engines, I'm just terrible with it. I just got this one recently because, well, the reason isn't really important.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Actually, the reason why I wanted you to meet me is because you're so good with the ships and flying and thing, as you say. Whereabouts are you?
Oh, well, it looks like I'm coming into system now. I should be at, and he kind of, you hear some, like, flipping through, or you see him, right? Because he's on video. You see him, like, flipping through, like, his data slab on his, he's like, I'm about 5 hours out from, the planet. I think that where you might be at, but what I've noticed here is it'll be hard to get on planet. It looks like there's some sort of line or waiting that must be done.
Oh yeah, there's quite a line. Do you just need to make it to me, and we'll deal with that whole thing. Don't you worry. We've been here for a bit. We're already in line. It's kind of a long story.
Oh, so y'all still in line? Oh, okay. That's good. That means I can meet you. I wouldn't want to get in line and take up one of these fine people's spots just to come down for some lesson. Is that what this going? Is this going to be lessons or?
I'll explain it when you get here. How's that sound?
Oh, yeah, of course. I will make my way. Just send me the IFF of that ship that you have. Like he doesn't have it already. and I will come to you.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
It was good talking to you again.
She's already hung up.
Yeah. He's saying that in the cockpit of the ship.
Yeah.
Immediately turns around. What's an IFF for the ship? What does that mean?
So a few hours go by, and you get another bzz, bzz, bzz. He's calling back, of course.
Yeah, she answers it with a voice.
Yeah, and he says, "Ma'am, I'm awaiting outside. If you wanted to head up to the cockpit of your fine vessel there and perhaps initiate the docking procedure with me, that would be great."
Yeah, I'll be right there. Just immediately hangs up. I think that as she goes to walk out, I assume she's always in her room.
Mm-hmm.
She like takes the quickest of moments to reapply her lipstick, and then she leaves.
Okay. So this is a bargaining tool, obviously.
Yeah.
It's purely for leverage.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So you go out and as deftly as two master pilots can, the ships, dock up and they're connected to the airlock, and he glides across onto the ship, and I assume you're there to meet him. Did you let Dr. Fisher or Fortune or Chan know that visitors would be coming on board?
I definitely would have let Chan know. But probably not Fisher or Fortune unless I somehow came across them as I was going to the cockpit.
Fortune and Dr. Fisher, roll me perception checks.
This will be good.
Wow.
I'm really involved in my
Fisher's
rifle.
on.
I honestly think you're asleep, Fortune. Like that's
Yeah, probably.
You're this is like your sleep cycle right now, so you don't even notice.
Can I just say, Go-Go, you've made me waste a 666 to notice your booty call
Listen, I
when
didn't
that
do
double six
shit,
would have been
okay?
used for Chan.
You know, no one has used a
Listen.
reroll this whole session.
That is true.
Haven't been a lot of. I was
didn't
assuming.
do
Yeah,
nothing.
I assumed Gogo was gonna go for it, and so, you know, that changed plans a little bit. So Dr. Fisher, you're in your lab working, and all of a sudden you feel just the very slightest, and maybe you have a screen up somewhere that's like airlock engaged, right? It's like successful docking. And then it probably gives you like an unknown ship designation.
Yeah, I think with that, I get my pistol, go on loudspeaker comms. Intruder! Fortune!
Are we
Get to the
doing this
airlock.
again? This is great. We're doing this again.
Yeah, no,
God.
you definitely wake up to that for sure.
Yeah, I jump out of bed. I grab the nearest weapon, which I'm going to assume is my revolver, and I'm running towards the airlock again with no pants.
Right, yeah, no pants on.
Yeah.
Like, bust out the door, you leap down, take cover, and you see Gogo. Gogo, you're probably standing there, you probably watched him do all this, and you're just like, fuck.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I probably. Whoa! You made it here quick, Gogo. Where's your weapon?
Why would I need my weapon?
Someone's trying to dock. Someone's trying to board us.
I think, like, the airlock opens, like, like
Yeah,
behind,
and Gogo just like leans out of the way.
like, behind Gogo,
Yeah.
the airlock just opens.
Raised eyebrow smell.
We have a guest. Fortune, you might want to put your weapon away.
Yeah, and I think he just, like, pokes, he steps out, and he goes, howdy, Fortune. How you doing?
Fizz, nice to see you again.
It's mighty fine to see you too.
All right, well, I'm gonna go get dressed.
Yes,
Or
that would
probably
be
back to
advisable, sir. We are in the presence of a lady.
I just turn around and walk off. Probably mumbling something about lady. I don't see no lady.
Right.
Rude.
Gogo gets the
I'm
in
sorry.
the
but
back.
also
Gogo-
true.
Yeah, would you have ever classified yourself as a lady?
No.
No.
Gogo gets like the angry anime face from afar, where it's like the paper cutout,
Yep.
and she's got like
Mhm.
the little puff of like anger over her head. Dr. Fisher, are you still continuing?
Oh, I mean, at this point, I would probably, because I've got the longest to reach
Yeah.
to the
You-
airlock.
You
So-
you skid around the corner as Fortune's like walking back to his room. All he has
Nobody
is like
move.
a t-shirt and a pistol belt, and that's basically all that he's wearing.
Yeah. Yep.
Has there been a misunderstanding here?
Yes. Once again, yes.
Fortune slams open the door open button for his room and walks in.
Yeah.
Greetings. Sorry for the not pleasant welcome, I guess. Go, you didn't tell us we were expecting visitors.
I didn't know I had to.
I think Chan comes in with his apron, and he has like glasses, like drinks, probably non-alcoholic, just like glasses of water. He comes in. Oh, he's arrived. Very well. I apologize, Dr. Fisher. I did not know you would be here. I can go get another glass of water if you'd like.
No. I think I'll leave. Do you two get on with your own business? As I whisper into Gogo, do you need any contraceptives?
Hard shoved to the chest to get you away from her. She's like, we'll be going. And she just kind of like, turns around and marches out.
Now Chan was standing perhaps like 15 feet away, and he walks up to you, Dr. Fisher, and he whispers in your ear, Fisher, what exactly are contraceptives?
Does he say it quietly? Please tell me he doesn't say it quietly.
Chan's not very subtle.
No.
Oh my god, please have this conversation with him.
Now, Dr. Fisher, first of all, he heard it and you whispered from 15 feet away.
Yeah.
Troubling.
That part is troubling, but also then he came up and said it clearly within earshot of Gogo and Fizz as you're like forcefully like dragging him away from the airlock.
It's like that pushing him and like full force behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
Chan, contraceptives is a one of multiple devices that when two beings want to mate, but they do not want to produce offspring.
Oh, so that man, he is a breeder? Why would they not want to? I don't understand why you would want that. He is of good stock, well built, perhaps slightly less intelligent than normal, but that is not a trait that passes down from the father.
This is wonderful.
There are many reasons, Chan. Some being they do not really want offspring at this time. Some maybe for financial reasons. Yeah.
I am beginning to wonder, Dr. Fisher, who is more strange? The people of my home planet or the people I have met off-world? And he kind of like shakes his head and walks away. So, is this the part, well, I mean, maybe we should finish the scene, maybe it's important. Where do you take Fizz?
To the cockpit, like to just the front of the ship away
Sure,
from
yeah.
them.
Yeah. And he's like looking around and he's like, because he did the tour of the ship, so he knows, where, well, I should say, Fortune did the tour of the ship. And he enters and he's like, yes, it's just the way I remember it. So, you said that there was some details we needed to discuss.
Yeah, Fizz, I could really use your help. I, for some reason, have this urge to, I feel as though, and she's like, all of a sudden really nervous, and it's very like confusing to Gogo as to like, well, this is stupid. I'm just asking him a question. Like, why am I all of a sudden acting like him? And then she like just snaps out of it. She goes, could you teach me some of the tricks that you have? I could really use to be a better pilot. And then she like says that out loud and like looks down like, did I really just say that out loud? What the fuck? Like
Yeah, I think he kind of like looks around the cockpit and like totally oblivious to the nervousness or anything. He kind of like rubs the back of his neck and he goes, yeah, I think I did some training on a freighter about this size. Probably not as heavy or bulky, but your natural skill should make up for that. I don't have much skill in anything. I had to learn real hard, went through lots of training to do this, but I think I could show you something maybe you don't know. Where should we begin? Well, I think that the capabilities of the ship might be the most important. Last thing we want to do is maybe, shear it in half. That would certainly be bad.
yeah, that would not be ideal.
Yeah, but I think we could get started here. As far as I know, I think there's a asteroid belt that I passed through. Looked ideal for some training if we wanted to go fly there. Now, the ship that I took is perhaps a little bit smaller than this one. Was easier to navigate, but maybe that would be beneficial. Would any of your crew members be willing? Obviously, we can't fly them attached together, but are any of them any good at flying? Perhaps they could at least watch my ship for me. It'd be easy to do if I was here next to you to see what you're going through. Not to make any impressions that you would be doing anything wrong, of course, ma'am, but
at this point Gogo stopped listening to him and is just like, oh fuck, who am I gonna have to put in the other ship? Freaking Fortune broke my shit last time. I can't like it. She's like kind of just trying to figure out
there's
to watch the ship.
Float the ship, okay.
The three thought bubbles come over your head, and there's like Chan,
Right,
Dr.
yeah,
Fisher,
she's
and
literally
Fortune.
Going through
like,
the options.
The Fortune bubble pops because of the previous incident, slides over, and then it's like these two, and then like we get an image of Chan like kind of like sitting in the cockpit, like looking at everything, and then we get Dr. Fisher giving the same exact look, like I don't know what the fuck any of this is. But again, all they have to do is sit there and
yeah, I think the Go-Go just
remain
like cuts him
immobile.
off, and she's like, yeah, I'm sure we could figure that out. I mean, maybe we'd have to have all three of them. Well, you know what? We'll figure it out.
Well, I did get a two-seater just in case two people needed to ride in it at once, in case there were we needed that sort of thing. So if you wanted some training on a smaller ship too, I guess we could probably squeeze in. I don't know what the timetable is that we have, but
He brought a ship as a date.
I think Gogo pulls up her compad and looks at, where it says their number in line and estimated time.
Yeah, you have basically still the 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so she like closes her compad again, and she's like, "We've got time."
Cool. Yeah, and I think that we scroll out of the ship, right, and we fade to black when you say we've got time, and then we will next week we'll go through montage, and probably start up with like getting Oscar back on board after the montage real quickly, and
Woo!
Yay!
all of the fun stuff that's going to happen there with that on both ends, both the two people who are researching and the two people who are training. So experience. So half the crew members are at level 6 now. I'm going to up the experience that you guys receive. Everybody gets 1,000 experience.
Sick.
Hooray!
Half the crew members are
At
at
the very least 3 more weeks, and then I'm level 6.
Well, you're certainly like, so here's the deal. Any of you that had a mission to deliver the goods, count that as completed. Because technically that happened. So, for next week, count that as completed, because technically Oscar was able to complete that before arriving at the dojo. So, goodbye, Devin. Have fun at Game of Thrones.
Bye.
Still have to wait an hour.
Wait, yours comes on an hour later?
No, because there's no legal way for me to watch it real time.
Oh, I see.
So I have to wait until it's finished, and then I probably shouldn't be saying this on stream. should
No,
I?
stop speaking
Cut the
at
stream.
the moment.
Cut the stream.
Just a moment.
All right, I'm gonna meet you guys. I'll either talk to you in a minute or later. Goodbye. All right, everybody. I'm glad you all could be here. It's been hella fun. Hope you all enjoyed it. That concludes our episode for today. Some cool things that happened. A little less actiony than one a couple of sessions ago, but hey, sometimes that happens in Stars Without Number. Definitely not something you want to pick a fight in, because fights are hard, but we'll see if we can get some danger in tow for some of our party members next week on Olympus. Glad you all could be here. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned. More coming. Promise. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Bye.